The European Commission is preparing to make a major announcement about a recovery fund to fight the economic crisis. But what has the European Union done to help its member states since the coronavirus pandemic hit? Its first response was allowing the €37 billion left in the current EU budget to be used in a more flexible way.
In a sense, this is not new money because this was already in the EU budget, but a large part of it would have been left unused. And now with this new initiative, this money can be utilized, so member states receive a lot of fresh funding.
In March, the European Central Bank announced a huge government bond purchasing programme worth €750 billion, which runs until the end of the year. The ECB had been buying Eurozone debt in the past, but strictly proportionate according to each country's GDP and population.
What is very important in the new pandemic emergency purchases is that no such limitations exist, and the ECB can very flexibly purchase government bonds of Eurozone member states.
In April, the European Commission announced the start of the SURE programme. It's a €100 billion plan to finance job protection in its member states through credit lines.
The benefit for member states could be that they get a very cheap loan, potentially at zero interest rate, because the European Union can borrow close to zero interest rate in the long term.
Also in April, the European Investment Bank announced a €25 billion guarantee backing to support small and medium-sized businesses in Europe. It's able to generate up to €200 billion in credit. In May, Eurozone ministers extended the scope of the European Stability Mechanism bailout fund to cover the needs of the corona crisis.
The only requirement this time is that the member states will have to spend this amount of money on healthcare and related expenditures. It's also limited to 2% of GDP, so it's a much smaller loan.
So far, the EU has mostly been securing cheap credit lines to its members to fight the crisis.
For example, if Germany benefits from any of these facilities, then paying back those loans wouldn't be a problem. But for some other member states which already have a very high public debt, like Greece or Italy or perhaps Spain, for these member states, paying back the new loans might be difficult.
If a German-French proposal prevails, the EU could end up giving grants, not loans, to those countries in need. A game changer in the EU's crisis response. Jack Parrick, Euronews, Brussels.